And then we are going to start. So welcome everybody. I'm going to get set up. I'm Melissa Crutchler. Obviously, Melissa Crutchler is Melissa's Money Madness because Monday is my favorite day of the week. And this is what I do. I come on and I don't book anything but this on Mondays because it's my day. So I'm going to let Nikki introduce herself while I get all set up here and share away. And then we'll start asking some questions.
All righty. So hi everyone, I'm Nikki Henry. I am a healthy lifestyle coach. So I'm a personal trainer, but my main focus is not just on the exercising, it's on getting rid of that diet mentality and kind of the sabotaging behaviors that people get into. I also own another business, which is actually a business coaching one where I help really just new entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs who are struggling with, again, a healthy mindset, but this time more about money and fear and also their own version of sabotage.
Perfect. All right. So you did mention it already that you've got multiple businesses. So we're going to ask the first question on my list, which is, do you find there to be a struggle? Because you have 4, don't you?
I have, just 2.
You have 2? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with the
Sometimes
2 that
it feels like 4.
yeah. Do you find that there's a struggle? I know that being a multi-passionate entrepreneur myself, in some cases, you may find it hard to multitask and to keep things separate and to not do, mix everything up that's going on, right? I know for me, being a mindset coach and a psychic intuitive, they kind of go hand in hand. So it's a little bit easier, but you've got, the personal trainer aspect plus the mindset aspect. So that can mesh very well, but do you ever find there's struggles in there?
Yeah, I actually had a really hard time, particularly with my business coaching, with getting a true niche. So what happened was, since I was personal training and I've been doing this for, it'll be 8 years in July, I thought, well, the logical thing for me to do is to go into business coaching for just health and wellness professionals, because I thought, well, I've been there. This also will carry over into, just my personal training side of things too. But what I found was I wasn't entirely passionate about making it about just health and fitness professionals. I really feel a calling towards more of the new and developing online entrepreneurs instead. So that made it a little bit difficult because it didn't seem like, the obvious thing to do. So it does kind of carry over. There are a lot of times where, if I didn't have, because I got right in front of me, I have a planner and I have 2 bullet journals. So I keep everything totally separate, but it's hard to keep track of the days when I'm trying to keep things really separate. So yeah, it's hard.
Absolutely. So one of the good things with you is probably just setting up that schedule, the scheduling, the planning, the attention to details, making it so that one day you're doing this and another day you're doing that, and just kind of, meshing that in very well. That's like me. I only have 3 days a week that I'm available for readings and coaching because the rest of the time's my time, right? Where one day I'm going to be doing Melissa's Monday Madness, and any courses I want to take is Mondays. Fridays I do all my shopping or, creating jewelry, because why not end my weekend that way, right? So definitely building that in is super important. Now, I noticed, again, like you said, it's hard to just stick with one niche. So I'll go niche specific, and I have 2 different styles of coaching as well. But going niche specific, there's sometimes that I'm giving business advice where I don't do business coaching, but at the same time, I'm like, here, this is how you do this. And, so it's easy to slide and really just maneuver through them. So that's really awesome. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your businesses, including who your ideal clients are.
Yeah. So, with my personal training, it's basically I got sick of working in corporate gyms, even as an independent contractor, because I still, you're exchanging your time for money in that situation. So I would train people, but I would never really address, what's their eating problem, what's going on in their life that's causing them to yo-yo or that's causing them to not lose weight, because I've only got 30 minutes or an hour with them. So I really just wanted to move online because it gives me the ability. What I did was set it up kind of like a course, and then you have a workout of the day. So this way you have access to the healthy mindset things that I want to coach people on. You have access to how to goal set, and it's something that you can not only access but go back to as many times as you want to or need to if you kind of fall off the wagon or whatever and just need to kick back into it. So then I also have the workout of the day, which posts. So I do that pretty much for the whole week. I create the program and then just kind of release it out for the week. And this way it's something different all the time. Some of the workouts do repeat themselves just because it's kind of seeing where you were and where you're at now. And that way you can self-assess and kind of keep that motivation going as well. But I just really wanted to move online and find a way to kind of really get to the bottom of things instead of just having people hop from personal trainer to personal trainer or learn a bunch of crazy information from whatever diets in, at the time. So that was the whole background about the personal training side. And then with the business coaching, I just love teaching. Like that's something that I used to do as a kid, was even during summer break, I would like play school. So teaching has always been something that I just love to do. I love to help people and I love to watch them take that next step and just watch it click. So with the business coaching, knowing how hard it was for me to figure this out, because the personal training thing took me almost 8 years to get into, and finally just say, you know what, I'm going to do this. But I was one of those people who said, this isn't for me. It's too expensive. I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's just, I think it's nice to be out there as somebody who is a guide and a helping hand.
Absolutely. We need people. And in this day and age, we're going to a very online society, right? Mm-hmm. Where we're finding our workouts online or our diets, right? Like, as you said, whatever the newest fad is. And if you can find somebody that you can watch and you can, that you can watch and follow and get tips and tricks from and have this person online and accessible, all the time, it makes a huge difference, right? So I would definitely say that that's a really awesome thing, is just to have that capability, and that not a lot of people want to leave their house. Like,
right.
Weight shaming and appearance shaming and all of that. People go to the gym and they're like, I deal with people, like, I don't want people looking at me while I'm working out, right? Yep. So you give them that ability to work out at home, but still have that one-on-one motivation. Like, okay, get it done. Let's just, get it done.
Right.
They're totally awesome. I think that's great. Anybody joining, just to jump in, if you're joining and you have a question, feel free to ask. Even if you're watching the replay later, you also can ask questions. Nikki and I will answer to the best of our abilities, depending on what we're doing at that particular moment. If it's 2:00 in the morning, we're probably not going to be answering your questions until the next day, but you never know. Okay. So your ideal clients, we kind of touched on that. And I want to jump into, you mentioned in the pre-interview process that you like to find what creates those nasty eating habits, what thought beliefs or what eating patterns or what specifically gets in there to create those beliefs. Now I'm a mindset coach, have the 7 mindset pillars. This one is definitely going to go into self, the self category, where you can be growing up and somebody says to you that's unhealthy, or little tiny little words, whether it's one word, a phrase, a look, an action, whatever it may be, somebody can cause you to create that belief where you're going to eat unhealthily. I have one, and I'm going to tell you what it is. My mother was on assistance when I was growing up. So every time I wanted a special treat or I wanted to drink juice or anything along those lines, it was, well, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. Or we don't have the money, or, that's a luxury we are not getting. And I find now I spend hundreds of dollars a month on food because I just want to eat what I want to eat. I don't care what I'm eating, and that's probably why I'm like 70 pounds overweight. Because I just don't care what I'm eating.
Right. Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
I get a lot with people. How we kind of dig into that is the nice thing is that you have that understanding and that knowing that this was a triggering event. So from that point forward, that was what really led to this adulthood pattern of, I have the money to buy it, so I'm going to, I have to, I need it. I didn't have it when I was younger. So we kind of create this weird scarcity mindset of like, I need to make up for all of those things in my past that I didn't have, which is nice because this actually translates over into business with money. So you just kind of trade out the word, but it's the same idea. So what I work on with people a lot is that uncovering. So we get to people's childhood, even if it was, did you have somebody in the family that mentioned that maybe you go back for more servings, or why is your plate so full, or something like that, where you feel uncomfortable eating in front of them. And so you'll go to other people's houses and kind of gorge. Or as an adult, you'll start hiding food, or even as a child, you start hiding food. So that's where a lot of these come from. In your case, in particular, it's just that idea of I didn't have it, but now I can. And so instead of viewing it as I could buy this whenever I want, it kind of becomes that mentality of I have to buy everything right now because I couldn't afford it back then.
Yeah.
So you get into the cycle of chronically over purchasing and chronically overeating because it's just that mentality of what if I can't afford this someday, or I couldn't afford it back then, so now I have to kind of make up for it. So it's
Absolutely.
very interesting what our brains do and how it sabotages us, for life, really.
So for me, I have a question then. I'm going to
Yeah,
ask a little bit of free advice here so you can answer
go
my
for
question.
it.
I have a daughter who is like me and becoming overweight, and we're trying to positively reinforce just being a little bit more wiser with healthier food and stuff like that. We're not the greatest role models for that, but the stealing food has already started.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you do to say for somebody younger? What would you suggest as a mother that I say rather than that's unacceptable, you can't be stealing food, I'm going to lock it all up? Right?
Okay, so even as an adult, and I'll reference bodybuilding because that's something that I did that I have a good background with. So with bodybuilding, my diet's very strict. So I can't have, say fast food. And I would find myself in the drive-through of a place that I haven't been, or ordering food I've never eaten before, right? So I'm like craving stuff that I can't have, literally because I'm telling myself no. So when you tell even an adult no, it kind of is like, well, why not? Or watch me. So children work the same way. They just don't have that barrier of, saying, okay, maybe I shouldn't. So when you tell a kid, and this happens a lot, and this creates a lot of issues, if you tell a kid, you can't be stealing food, I'm going to lock it up or make it inaccessible, this creates that same kind of food hoarding. It can worsen the problem too if it's already an issue. So instead of creating a situation where it's creating a scarcity in their mind because they don't understand why they can't have it, they don't understand why hiding food isn't okay. My advice is to sit them down and ask them why they feel like they need to hide it. If they feel like this is something that they're not getting or what they're trying to accomplish by hiding it. Some kids, you know, at a certain age, they're not going to know, right? They have no idea. They're just doing it because really they're not supposed to. But creating more of a system away from food or treats as a reward, because as a culture, and I'm in Colorado in the US, and I know you're in Canada. So in the US especially, we have this culture around food. Food is a reward, it's a punishment, it's confusing. So it serves multiple purposes. But we tend to reward kids with candy or with treats. So what they're doing is they view this, and food becomes a physical reward to them. So they're creating their own happiness is what they're trying to do. So you just have to figure out some other means of reward and never use food as punishment. So if a kid is having a bad day, you know, sitting them at the table and telling them that they have to force feed themselves or they can't get up from the table, that creates a very negative emotion. Then they start to resent, you know, healthy food, dinner food, whereas this other food is treats and rewards, and it's good and it makes them happy. So just being really, as a parent, aware of the view that you're creating of food and making sure that it's not contradictory, and especially that there's not a negative, you know, connotation towards regular food or good food. Something else that I've had people implement that's worked really well is instead of food or snacks as treats, doing something like jump ropes or those little skip it things, something that is going to make them active. So then activity becomes a reward.
Yeah. Very good. Sorry. I'm writing that down because I like to write while we talk because it keeps me going. Okay, so let me see all my questions. I think I've actually asked them all.
Yep, most of them.
So marketing, with having different businesses, what do you find? Do you find it hard to market at all with having separate ideals? Like, do you have separate websites? How separate are your businesses?
They it gets to be a little bit of a learning situation here. I'm still learning with that. And again, it kind of went back to my business coaching not necessarily being just for health and fitness coaches. So at first they meshed really well because, you know, my Instagram was fitness posts, and then I would market to other fitness people saying, you know, I'm getting my clients and you can too. But as I realized that my business coaching business really was geared more towards just new entrepreneurs and that mindset side, it's become a little bit more tricky to market in the same place. So my Instagram, I feel, and maybe it doesn't, but I feel that sometimes it can be a little confusing. So if I bring in people who are interested in weight loss, and then the very next post that they see is about business coaching, it can be a little confusing. So I'm trying to really figure out the best way to go about that, which, who knows? It's just all trial and error.
It would probably be easier to have separate accounts, separate stuff that you can do, but maybe finding a way to link them all and still have them separate, right? Say, you know, oh, I do this and this. Cause like for me, the psychic intuitive coaching, I'm teaching individuals how to open, use, and love their intuition, right? Their psychic abilities and their spiritual gifts. But then with the mindset coaching, I get people who aren't spiritual and want nothing to do with the intuition, right? And I'm fine with that, and that's perfectly acceptable, right? I don't care what people think or want when it comes to their own spiritual beliefs, but it's definitely interesting to on the one hand you've got card readings, and on the other hand you've got you know, your mindset is your key. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely confusing even for me. I'm making it work because there's not a lot of difference between mindset and spirituality. People don't
Right.
realize that, but that's how I get away with it.
Yes.
Um, I did have another question. So what do you do in your spare time? Like everybody that I've talked to, they're like, oh, that everybody's so in love with their business. They don't talk about, you know, here's my
Their life.
transformation for my clients. You're as a business owner, as a coach
Yep.
even, you're so focused on helping your clients
Hmm.
and spreading the word about what you do that when you get asked a question, well, what excites you, you instantly go to work. Like instantly go to something to do
Yep.
with your clients and work. So outside of work and outside of clients, what do you like to do?
Like I mentioned, I'm in Colorado and I am so in love with the state. I grew up here and recently moved back in June. So I like hiking is one of my big things. I like really outdoorsy things. I have 3 dogs, so we definitely like to get outside. And kind of my bucket list for this year is I didn't really go exploring before I left. I left when I was 18, and I just moved back, like I said, in June. So 9 years almost I've been gone, and I just never really did any exploring. So that's kind of my bucket list, is to go out and just see everything that I just didn't go do when I was younger. So definitely kind of those outdoor activities. I love travel. I'm also working on trying to travel around the world, and being mobile and online is like the perfect way to go about it.
Very nice.
Hmm.
So just quick hi to everybody who's joining. If you're catching us live and you have any questions for Nikki, who is a personal trainer and healthy mindset lifestyle coach, or for me, I'm a psychic intuitive and mindset coach myself. So if you have any questions for us, post them in the comments. I am keeping up to date with the comments. So if you are saying hi, I am paying attention. I may not answer right away, but I am paying attention. Um, so you mentioned having a bucket list for this year. Is that something you've done before? Is like a yearly goal? Um, a bunch of yearly goals that you have, or something that you want to achieve by the end of the year?
Not really. And this kind of goes into why I chose more of like the mindset side of business coaching. So up until this year, I mean, let's just say a year ago, I was living like less than paycheck to paycheck. I wouldn't dream of going to my backyard. I couldn't afford to go anywhere outside of my house. I mean, it was that bad, to where I was, taking showers at the gym because that would help out my water bill. So it was just a really bad situation for probably the past like 4 or 5 years, after I got out of college. So I really have not dreamt about doing anything that would cost a penny. So this has been all very new since I started my business. I quit my full-time job in December, and just kind of have been making the business work, and it's been amazing. So I just kind of took the leap and decided that I'm going to live the life that I have been wanting to live and have been missing out on, and I don't want to miss out on my life. So
Nice.
definitely
So
a
you
big
took
goal
your
for
own
this
power
year.
back,
Oh yes.
which is,
Yeah.
it's transformational. People don't really
It is.
understand how important it is to know what you want and go after it.
Right.
Being a mindset coach, you and I both know that there's so many things that people put in their own path.
Yes.
And I just came out with my signature 7 mindset pillars, which is the foundation for my mindset coaching.
Yeah.
And I did live series on that, where you've got yourself, you've got your spirituality, you've got relationships, family, friendships. What
Hmm.
was the other ones? Career and business and finances.
Okay.
As you're born, and as you grow through childhood and your formative years, even early adult life, every experience you have, every person in your life, they're teaching you some form of lesson in one of those pillars,
Mm-hmm.
where you then create a mindset belief, whether a
Yeah,
positive or a negative, in those pillars that you carry forward, which creates those negative relationships. It creates the
exactly.
financial,
Mm-hmm.
the financial paycheck to paycheck, right? Because
Yep.
you start putting those beliefs into play, and once you're capable of making your own decisions, you're basing them on those mindsets.
Right. So it's all that
So
scarcity, which is what I deal with a lot in my business, is that scarcity mindset, especially around, food, and then around money in my other business. And it translates really well. I mean, it is something that you pick up in childhood, whether you're aware of it or not. And a lot of my coaching on both sides is that discovery of there is a reason. You and I were born just the same, and we're given information and we're given input that created our path. So there's no reason that I should be any different from you, why I should be healthier than you, when we were kind of both born the same, on the same path. We just
yeah,
kind of branched off of it for whatever reason. So yeah, definitely believe.
absolutely. Um, which is funny because I actually just wrote a book about that.
Really?
Yeah, and
Nice.
I released it on Thursday.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm shocked. I always knew I loved English, that I wanted to, there's so many things I wanted to do as a kid.
Yeah,
Like the sky was the limit. Always the sky was the limit for me.
absolutely.
Um, but I sat down and I started writing this book, and I wrote the book on my past relationships,
Mm-hmm.
romantic relationships, situations that I had witnessed growing up, relationships that I was a party to, whether it be my friends, my family, myself.
Yeah.
And I detailed out these relationships and the mindset beliefs that I took from these relationships going forward in order to create my own ideal spouse. I'm married, and I have been for the last 9 years, to my twin flame. He is literally my ideal partner. He is perfection
Mm-hmm.
for me. Not that there is anything remotely close to perfection. Um,
But
but
no.
he is perfect for me, and he gives me everything that I need to. And the reason I'm promoting this a little bit is, one, the book is for sale. So it's called On My Way to Us. Two, I'm doing a challenge next week in my Facebook group on how you can create your ideal partner based on what you need to feel, not what they can bring to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, I want tall, dark, and handsome. Well, that person's probably going to turn out to be an asshole, and you're not going to be
Right. Good luck.
happy because that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right now, in this page that you guys are all watching this video on right now, I'm doing the 7 ways you may be destroying your relationships. So controversial. I love the way it sounded, so I had to use it. And we're doing that. And one of the first things is making it all about yourself. So if anybody watching one is interested in that, the video is below this one. So, I don't know what other questions to ask you. I think I've kind of asked them all, and this has flown really well. Normally they go for an hour, but I say, they can end and
You
stop
know.
later. I have one that ended like an hour and 50 minutes in. So,
Oh, wow.
that really all depends. But what we can do is, what do you have going on? So do you have anything you want to share? Any tips and tricks for people who may be in a
Yeah.
similar situation? Your story, I don't think we've touched on that. We might have touched on that a bit. So feel free, whatever you want to share. I am just going to sit back and listen.
Perfect. Yeah, so I actually am in my pre-launch phase right now for my healthy mindset coaching. So it's actually called Limitless Mindset. And that officially launches on May 1st. It's a comprehensive course that deals the first, I haven't decided fully yet if it's going to be 5 or 6 weeks. I might add a little something extra in that week, but 5 to 6 weeks of the mindset work that you need if you're starting a business or if you're trying to refocus your business. So it's dealing with that money mindset, manifestations, all of the stuff that you need to really get into a good, positive, and healthy, abundant attitude. So that's the first several weeks, and then the rest of it is all the stuff that I really wish I had somebody holding my hand through, because I went through Pinterest. I mean, I read everything. I had so many free everythings for how to make $10,000 affiliate marketing, how to do this, how to, make a million zillion dollars in your first month. So I read all of it, and I wish that I hadn't because it really put me in a negative mindset. So I had to kind of undo the mindset that I put myself in, which was worse than where I started. So the rest of the program is just guiding you step by step on how to create content, how to create emails, how to find your voice, how to, get over that salesy, icky type of feeling. So that I will post a link because it's kind of a longer link. I don't have a pretty link for it, but I'll post that. And that's a course, but I also do a one-on-one coaching option, which is a 45-minute call each week. It can be video or voice, where we will address the things that you're going through. So you also have access to that program, which should follow essentially the same flow as our sessions. The sessions are going to be more of that individualized work.
So I do have a question. With the things that you wish you had known and all the freebies that you hadn't
Yes.
done, trust me, been there, done that too.
Okay, yes.
I find a lot of people that I see and a lot of people that, end up coming to my page. Most of my viewers came to my page because I was doing free readings. So now when I transitioned fully into the coaching, it's like, bang, they're all leaving. And I'm like, at first you're like, oh, but no. Now I'm just like, okay, it's okay for you to leave because I've transitioned, which means it's okay for you to leave, right? And so my question is, when it comes to your business, did you end up working with a coach? Did you have a coach that actually worked with you?
Yes. So when I came up with this idea to actually start my business and move online, I knew what I didn't know. So I knew that I didn't know how to grow an online business. I knew that I didn't know what platforms to use or how to really market online. And so I did hire a business coach, and I'm still working with her. And she really was the one who helped me with the mindset and how to really unlock that. So just, full disclosure here, I paid about $3,000 for my coach, and that was, pretty much all the money that I had to my name. And I paid up front. I paid it in full because I knew that this would come back to me, and I was ready to make this work. And since then, just with manifestations and that positivity, I've manifested, and I actually forgot that I manifested an extra $1,200. I totally forgot about that, which is not something I would have forgot about a year ago. But I calculated it all up, and I've manifested outside of my business about $4,500. So
Very nice.
Yeah, it's been incredible. It's been just crazy to see the way that my life has changed. And I definitely think that if you're going to be in business, you need to have somebody there. You need to have a second set of eyes. You need to have somebody that you can bounce questions off of. I fully believe in a business coach pretty much for everybody.
I believe in business coaches too, because I've worked with two.
Mm-hmm.
I had one for mindset and niching because Jamie's amazing.
Yes.
And then I had another one, strategy. I worked with her for literally 3 hours, and I got more strategy and detail than I've ever had in the last year. And it was literally life-changing. I went from procrastinating and not knowing what the hell I was doing to getting like an entire month's worth of work done in a couple hours. Retarded. But I would also add, though, that getting a coach isn't just necessarily for business, but also, again, mindset. Like for my clients, their pain points are they have no idea what they want to do. They don't, like, for the intuition, they don't know what their intuition is. They're, confused as to what they can and can't do. You know, if you have psychic gifts, okay, well, let's open them up and tell you what they are.
Yes.
For my mindset coaching, it's creating the life of your dreams, whether that is business. So I do slightly do a little bit of business. I can't say that I don't.
Right.
But it's creating a life of your dreams, and those pain points are people are lost. They're in, you know, that negative swing of things, and you went through a negative, right? Where you were living paycheck to paycheck, you know, you had like fight or fly,
Yeah.
you know, and people don't understand that those are your most transformational. And I do shadow work. I love negativity. People look at me like I'm absolutely screwed in the head because I'm like, yes. They're like, I'm suffering from like negativity right now. And I'm like, yes, that's amazing. They're like,
This couldn't be better.
why? I'm like, yeah, because you need that. You know,
Yeah.
honestly, the biggest transformation you will ever get will come from your most negative situations, whether that be you're in an abusive relationship, whether you become homeless, whatever it is, whether you're just living a negative life, or even one little tiny aspect of your life is negative and the rest has all been positive, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And I'm like, yes, it's time for greatness. Like, let's get started. But people don't understand that. They're like, oh, I'm going to figure it out. And then I spent probably, including my website and all that, probably a good $10,000 to $15,000 last year. And
Yeah.
you know what? Honestly, probably a good 8,000 of that I didn't need to spend. That was me going from, you know, readings like stuff that I really didn't need.
Yeah.
If I
Just
had
throwing
just
money
hired a
at because
coach,
they do. Yeah.
you know, these one-off courses, you know, granted, yes, okay, I learned a lot from those courses. They were $100, you know, I got monthly subscriptions and got like unlimited access. But at the same time, if I had just hired a freaking coach, it would have
Yeah.
been done like 8 months ago,
Exactly. And that's the
right?
thing. I think that I really think that when you're new in business, or if you are stuck and you're not making money or you're not progressing, it's worth your time and worth your money, because time is money when you're first starting out. You've got to get things going. You've got to get your business launched. But it's just nice to have somebody there to put the blinders on for you and say, you know, you don't need to start a blog and get the email list going and get 4 freebies out and get your course and do your one-on-ones. I mean, it's just, but when you're, you know, searching the web and you're on Pinterest and it's just this like information overload, I downloaded so many free things that were like, you know, basically in no uncertain terms, follow this program and you will make 5 figures and multiple 5 figures by your 3rd month. Well, there I was in my 3rd or 4th month going, what the hell? Like, I haven't made a profit. I've made money, but I have not made a profit. This isn't sustainable. What am I doing? I'm following all these things, and it was all the things. But when something's free, it's just not worth your time. Like, it's good information, of course, but it's designed to draw you into a program, and I wasn't ready to be into a different program. I was in with my coach, and she put the blinders on for me, and that was 100% what I needed to focus in and understand what I wanted to do and what my gift was to the people that I serve.
Yeah. Most reputable coaches, and I'm not going to lie, most of us will have a freebie of some sort, whether that be challenges. The freebies will provide you with value, and they'll provide you wanting more. By the end of those, you're going to want more. And the reason you're going to want more is because you're already starting that transformation. Now, most of us, and not all of us, and that's okay if they don't, will have an introductory offer, whether that be like I have my readings for the intuition. I've got, you know, my book for the coaching, which are like $5 for the book. Like the book's literally $7.50. when it comes to, you know, I've got a 3-hour package where you get 3 hours one-on-one coaching for $250. You know, now my 15-week coaching, you're looking at like $2,500, but it's, you know, you're building up. And the reason I bent over there for a second is I actually created a little PDF, and I'm trying to see if I actually printed it because I'm terrible at not printing things. Actually, I'm terrible at printing things, so I probably got multiples in here. But this is actually really good, and I think that it's going to be good for quite a few people listening to this video, is how to choose a coach. So I did this little PDF like a couple months ago on how to choose a coach, how to, you know, pick somebody that's going to be worth it for you.
Yeah.
The problem is oh, here we go. How to. Yay. I knew I'd find it somewhere. So it's literally, and I can make this PDF available for anybody who's interested. So how to choose a coach, teacher, mentor, psychic, intuitive, medium, healer, whatever. It doesn't matter who you're looking for. This is literally perfect. One, take your time. Do not ever feel like you have to be rushed into choosing a coach. Anybody. That is not my cat's paws are under the door. If it isn't children, it's animals. So take your time. Make sure that you do your research. Take your time. Even if they tell you it's only available for 24 hours, take your time. Like, that drives me nuts.
Out there, and it's going to be at the right time for sure.
Yeah. 2, identify your needs. You need to know at least what you're looking for. So if you've got a coach that you're looking for and they're like, well, I don't know what I want. It's like, well, I don't know if I can help you. Right? Like, that's where your freebies come in. Get a freebie that says identify what you want. Like, just, I'll even create one. Just identify your needs, right? If you need to figure out what your needs are, then find a coach that's going to tell you what your needs are. Do your research. Absolutely do your research. That's testimonials. That's videos. That's asking them questions, not freebie questions, because, you know, 90% of us really don't want to do that because it's not respectful. Right? We do I offer free clarity calls for 30 minutes. That's where your freebies are coming in. Exactly, right? So do your research. Make sure that you are checking out their videos, because I guaranteed 90% of us have videos. Pictures, work, whatever it is that vibes with you, which goes into the next one. Number 4, if they don't vibe, don't hire them. If you don't like somebody's vibration, somebody's energy, somebody's, you know, whatever, do not hire them. I don't care what they're promising you. If you don't like them, don't hire them. It's pointless. No. Now, I will stipulate on that. There are going to be times you do not like me. If you hire me, there are going to be times you don't like me. I can guarantee the same for you. We're not going to put up with your shit.
Right.
Test them out. That's the clarity calls, whatever it is, intro calls. Most of us have a way to test us out, and that's not test the psychic. Don't call us asking, you know, questions that you already know the answer to. Call us and see if the energies. That's the point of testing it out. Make sure your energies mesh, that, you know, because to be honest with you, as a coach, and I'm sure Nikki will agree, if you're looking to hire a coach and you want to make sure your energy vibes, we're doing the same thing. There are people who I talk to over Messenger, even over Messenger, and this is being spiritually enlightened. I can tell you whether or not you're going to be a client of mine over Messenger, because you know, if you don't resonate with me, we're not working together.
Right.
6, fear is not an option. Do not feel like you need to be scared into working with somebody. It should not be your only option. It should not be, you do this, your life's going to be crap. Like, Unless you're literally at death's door and you need Nikki's help to get healthy, there is no freaking reason you should be scared into working with a coach. That's bullying, and that's not acceptable.
Right.
And then there's a checklist. So for anybody who wants this download, I will provide it to you. The checklist, what are you looking for? Identify your needs. What do you like that they offer? Make sure that you've done your research, obviously. What do you like about them, their personality, their perspective, whatever it is that they're offering you, or that they resonate with you. I have clients who like the fact that I used to be a prostitute because they used to be prostitutes. So, you know, it all works. What do you think they will help you with? So what is it that you're hoping to get from that relationship with them? And lastly, how do they make you feel? I will tell you this, in every relationship that you have, whether it's marriage, coaching, friendships, family, do not base any of your relationships on anything other than how you feel in them. You need to feel respected. You need to feel heard. You need to feel what you need to feel.
And be aware too of that, the good kind of, you know, feeling scared, because there is, when you invest in a coach, you shouldn't have that icky, you know, oh my gosh, what did I just do? I just ruined my life. That means your vibe's off, your energy's off. You really need to do your research. I hear that a lot, where people have chosen the wrong coach because it's kind of what everyone was doing, and that person just doesn't resonate with them. You should have, I mean, this is a big step in your life. You should have that butterflies, you know, I'm going for this, I'm excited for it type of thing, but not that, oh my God, what did I just do? I just ruined my life. If you have
buyer beware though.
Yes, reach out.
That buyer beware feeling, I could literally, and now I'm not going to deny it. You know, I've lived paycheck to paycheck. Tom just switched jobs. Money's tight, right? Like, it is what it is. But when I spent that money on the coach, that buyer beware, that regret, you always, doesn't matter if you're spending over, you know, a few $100s, you're probably going to get that feeling of guilt going, oh my God, what did I just do? On the one hand, you can kind of ignore that if you know, if you're pumped up, if you're vibed, if you're super excited, then you know that you're doing the right thing. But at the same time, if you're impulsively on a high, that's why I say give yourself time, because I know for me, I'm an impulse buyer. I will buy just because I want it in that moment. And then the next day I'll be like, what the hell did I just do?
Yes.
Same thing with a coach. Make sure that you give yourself 24 hours to think it over. I was going to work with that coach, literally, that I was going to, that I worked 3 hours with. She was amazing, and I do not regret any of it. Like, I got so much value from her, but I was going to pay her more for one of her higher packages that I didn't need, but I was so high vibed and crazy excited that I gave myself the 24 hours. By the end of the 24 hours, I sat back and said, I really need to ask some more questions about what I'm getting. And we cut it back a couple hours, and it was perfect then. You really, really need to think about it. So
yeah, and I think it comes across to, there are people that are in business for money, right? So when it comes to coaching, when it comes to the business that we're in, it's results based, it is client based, it's client focused. So if you get the feeling that the person that you're thinking about hiring has that grabby, bring me more money, I need more clients, that kind of feeling, that's the one that you need to look out for. That's the one that you kind of just need to trust your gut on. Because if you're feeling that they're being grabby, or you feel like they're just in it for the money, that's going to come through. That comes through in their copy, that comes through in the way that they approach calls, anything like that. So you'll know. But yeah, like Melissa said, definitely take the time, listen to what they're saying, write things down, and ask questions afterwards. If somebody doesn't want to answer your questions afterwards, that's a huge red flag. So
now,
that's it.
Side note, I do want to make a shit ton of money because I have $100,000 vehicle that I need to buy.
Well, there you go.
So I want the clients and I want the money.
Yes.
But number one thing, of course, is the more clients I'm able to help and help transform, the more I'm going to get paid.
Yep.
And the thing a lot of people get mixed up for is there is that icky, grabby feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Money is still important to us because I have a family I have to support. I've got my dreams and goals. And
Yep.
just like everybody else, I need money to get those.
Yep.
So that's the difference between, oh, it should be all about the clients. It is all about the clients, but at the same time, we have to make sure that we're supporting ourselves,
Yes.
right? And as much as we love our clients, and as much, and I even tell my clients this, full exposure, I will always come first in my world. I
Yep.
come before my husband, I come before my children, I
Yep.
come before my clients, because I am the only person that I will ever be able to 100% guaranteed count on for the rest of my life.
Yep. And that's the thing. I mean, I have, quote unquote business hours that
Mm-hmm.
I don't attend to my business outside of those hours. I don't stay up all night. I don't run myself into the ground. Um, and I've set those boundaries, and those boundaries are
Yeah.
for me so that I can give my best work on a regular basis. So respect the boundaries on both sides. There needs to be boundaries for both of you, and you need to just understand that this is somebody's business and their life. This other
Yep.
person has a life too, even though they're guiding you and they're helping you with yours.
And you can tell when you've got a reputable client because they want you to succeed. Like
Yes.
for me, the thought of my clients creating a life that they love, or even just transmuting, so changing that negative belief system that they have into a positive. Like I want to cry thinking
I
about my
know, it
clients
makes me
doing
so
that. I'm just like,
happy.
oh my God, look what you just did.
Yeah.
Freak out, right?
Yes,
Even on my clarity calls, I had one clarity call where the lady was like, something had happened in her childhood, in her teens,
mm-hmm.
and she didn't realize, like, she had guilt. She was holding guilt for this purpose. And I sat there and I'm like, honey, that's not right. Like, you're not at fault there. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, this is what really, happened, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, like no guilt. Like the guilt was totally gone. And that's
Yeah.
like people just don't understand, right? Like your
Yeah.
mindset creates so many blocks
It
that
does.
you don't even realize. None.
Well, like I was talking about a year ago, I was like tearing my house apart to find, literally nickels and dimes so that I could buy food for myself, because I had put myself into the scarcity mindset where I was overeating the food that I did have. And so I was going like day to day surviving on protein shakes and like fruits.
Yeah.
So, and I'm talking like canned fruits, not real fruits. So, I mean, but I had this mentality and I was convinced that this was fine because I'd done it for 4 years. I was okay with everything. I knew how to get by. I knew that it was just, temporary, and next time I'll do better. Next week I'll do better. And so I just knew that I was never going to find money in my house to get me by. I knew that I was never going to, reach into my pocket of an old pair of jeans and find a 50. I knew that I wasn't, or that my truck was going to break down as soon as I needed it not to, or as soon as I didn't have any money to my name. And sure enough, the universe is like, well, I mean, okay, if you don't want to find any money, then okay. And if you don't want your truck to run, then sure, why not? We can do that for you too. So you create all these blocks where it's just this negative energy. And if you're one of those people that, because if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck. I was one of those people. And I expected bad things to happen. And sure enough, guess what? They do. But, here I am, and I have a 2017 car that I can pay for, and I'm comfortable with it. I've got, everything that I need, and I'm happy. I'm not buying things that I don't need anymore. It's crazy just what little tiny mindset shifts do to your whole life. And I want to see that light bulb go off for other people too.
Did you take the UNF Your Money program?
Yeah, girl.
That thing was awesome. Oh my God. Okay. So for anybody listening, Nikki and I have both worked with Jamie King, the Slay Coach, who is transformational. That woman is the shit. And I personally, on my personal profile, I shared one of her videos today that was just life-changing. I think I even shared it in my own group. She has this program called Unfuck Your Money Mindset. And oh my God, as soon as you said respecting your money and not buying the shit that you don't need, I was like, right on. Fuck yes. It was awesome. I was like in love. I took her course on that 4 weeks ago now, I think. And ridiculous. When she talks about really just respecting your money, I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I buy food that I know I'm going to eat. If I waste it, I'm just like, oh my God, what did I just do? Right. And, you know, that's totally the thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I have an entire overfilled cupboard of chips right now. But whatever, right? Like, I know they're going to get eaten. They're not, you know, not that I should eat them, but whatever.
They are.
But even going, like, it takes me 45 minutes to go to my so that I can go shopping. And consistently every 2 weeks, I was going in and spending anywhere from $500 to $1,000 every 2 weeks of my husband's money because I needed all of this shit. And it's like, now I sit here and I go, okay, well, do they really need clothes? No. And it's not like I was buying a lot of stuff. I had one of my friends tell me, oh, you're spending all your husband's money. And I'm like, okay. So I went back and I looked at literally every purchase for the last year. And I sat there and I said, okay, yeah. So I'm overspending on food. I overspent on psychics and mediums and courses and shit like that last year. But I probably spent $10,000 on my own business. And I don't regret a single penny of it because I needed to learn it all.
Right.
And I'm sitting here now going, okay, well, I very rarely buy clothing for myself. Very rarely get my hair done, my nails done. I like never wear makeup. So all of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm actually not wasting my money and I'm respecting it, right? Because I'm not overspending other than food, and I'm getting better with that. And I have been totally. My husband will probably disagree at the moment because there's, you know, the cupboard full of chips, but that has to last like 2 weeks right now, right? I'm not leaving my house for the next 2 weeks, hopefully. So
there you go.
We'll see. I'll just go outside. But yeah, so like Nikki and I are talking, lots of mindset issues, lots of stuff. Oh yes, and that Unfuck Your Money course, she has got that on for half price right now, and I will literally post it on the page. It is revolutionary, that course, like absolutely revolutionary. And I am so glad to be working with her because she's freaking amazing. So successful women are going to come away from Jamie King.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, unless you have any other questions, Nikki, for everybody else, Nikki is going to post a link to her limitless mindset. I got it right. She's going to post a link to that, also to her Facebook page, so that all of you watching, if you're interested in what she has to say, definitely go and take a look. If you're watching the replay, all of Nikki's information will be posted on the website, melissakretschler.com/Melissa's Money Madness, because I like long stuff and that just
love it.
So go take a look at that. The replay will be off on YouTube tomorrow. And for everybody else, have an awesome Monday night. I'm going to go have some ice cream because I can, and my kids had ice cream before I started. So kind of pissy that I didn't get any freaking ice cream. Yeah. So Nikki, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure. And I hope to do it again because I'm sure once I get all of these next appointments done, we'll do some repeats
Of course.
with some new
Yep.
fresh stuff. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and thank
Thank you.
you all. Much love, guys. And Nikki, you have a wonderful night.
Thanks. You too. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.